Okay, so one of the main things that I like to use in my classroom is the Twinkle keyword cards to go with displays such as story displays like the one I'm doing right now. I've chosen Room on the Broom as the first one for the year, and I just set up a little table like this one, and it has the numeracy for my P1s. I might tell you actually, I have a primary 1, 2, 3 and 4 composite with a nursery attached. So I try and make my tables as differentiated as possible because they might be over challenging for my youngsters and they might be under challenging for my primary 4s. So I do, it is difficult, but with the Twinkle packs it has become a lot easier. So I've got like the story maps for the Key Stage 2, which actually suit my primary 4s quite nicely, and the number counting ones, plus some mindful Christmas colouring and an activity book that I got from Amazon. I've got the story ordering cards, the sound book, and I've made, using the character cards, I made them myself. I couldn't find them on Twinkle, but I'm sure they are, and I've just sort of hot glued them to the back of teaspoons so they can do performances. I do have a play and display area. And then other props like fancy dress and a cauldron and such, but these are always complementary of my areas, is these dangling keywords, and I make them double-sided because then as they spin around you're not losing touch with the word, and it doesn't have a blank backside. So one of the biggest things that I found helpful was to discover how to make these. They're super easy, but it sounds like a hack that we should know about, so I'm gonna give it to you in this little demo. One of the best things I found out when I got to this particular school, and I'd not seen it, I've been teaching 5 years and I'd never seen it, a really experienced teacher in the school told me about fish gut, which is actually fishing line, and it comes in all different types of thicknesses, and you can get it off Amazon. It's super cheap, but so the bigger the number on the point, the thicker the string. So this is 0.7, so this is one of the thickest ones I've got, and it's quite dense, and it's almost unbreakable. However, it does curl, so you can't use it to dangle like light paper from it. However, if you want to use like models, like block models that your kids have made to dangle from the ceiling, maybe in like a library area or even as over an art display to make it 3-dimensional interactive, this is the stuff you need. However, for keywords that are light, I like to go for the 2.2, and you can use whatever, but I like the Flame Vantage one because it seems to be almost unbreakable. Like, that's the thinnest one, and it will not snap. It's designed for fishing, so it's not going to snap. But it doesn't curl as much, and it doesn't take much weight to keep it thin. And the reason I like it rather than string is because it looks so much tidier because you can't see it. Try not to put this across walkways because people will bump into it because they won't see it. So try and keep them out high and maybe above table displays, but it really does help. And the easiest way, it won't work with sticky tape because it's so fine, it'll just come out. So what I do, I'm going to do cat, and I don't even laminate them because they're not going to be touched, they're just for visual. But if you want to keep them for a bit longer, then by all means laminate them. They will make them a bit heavier though, so you might want to use something a little bit stronger than the 0.2. So I just lay it flat and I get the other one ready. Make sure that they're the right way up, and I take the end of the fishing line and place it smack in the middle of the paper like that, and I hold it. I've got long nails so it does help, but hold it straight in the middle. If it's not straight, they'll slip to an angle. However, you can hot glue them straight again. So, and I've just got a mini hot glue gun, and I just run a strip of hot glue like that, wait, all the way to the top, like that, excess, and then all I do is, while that's still hot, is just place the other one carefully on top, and I just press it down like that. Try and keep it as straight as possible. And hot glue, obviously, it does what it says on the tin. It is hot, so keep your fingers away, but it also dries really quickly. So if you haven't got it quite straight, you might need to leave an edge on these so that you can trim them down. And then that's it. So make sure that when you're cut, I don't cut it off until I've stuck it on, because then I know roughly how much I need. So I know that it's coming from my ceiling. And then that is your hanging display, like that. And you can just dangle them over the top. And if you want to, rather than having lots and lots of these, you could have a layered one and just make sure you start from the bottom of the string before you cut it off, and decide for how many you want. I'm trying to keep them the same sort of distance apart, but there's nothing stopping you from creating sort of like a keyword line and just gluing it on the top like that. So when you dangle them up with the hot glue, then you've got more than one, and they will spin independently as well, which is quite pretty. But I just thought everyone might benefit from knowing a really simple display hack that I got taught last year. Thank you.